is the Writer's Almanac for Thursday, the 5th of November, 2020. It was on this day, 1930, a Swedish newspaper reporter telephoned the novelist Sinclair Lewis to tell him that he had won the Nobel Prize in Literature. Lewis at first thought it was a joke, but in fact he was the first American to win the Nobel Prize in Literature. He told a friend at the time, "This is the end of me. I cannot live up to it." And he used his Nobel lecture to talk about all the other writers who might have been chosen, Dreiser and Eugene O'Neill, Willa Cather, Hemingway, Faulkner. It's the birthday of Ida Tarbell, born Hatch Hollow, Pennsylvania, 1857. She was working for McClure's magazine when she was assigned to write an expose of Standard Oil and John D. Rockefeller. She spent 2 years investigating and got evidence that Standard Oil was colluding with railroad companies to drive smaller refineries out of business. The articles were collected into a book, and the federal government began antitrust prosecution, and the breakup of the company was finally decided by the Supreme Court in 1911. A major American corporation brought down by a journalist. It's the birthday of the man who said, "It is better to vote for what you want and not get it than to vote for what you don't want and get it." That was Eugene Debs, born in Terre Haute, Indiana, 1855. At the age of 14, went to work on the railroad. He joined the union, became editor of their national magazine, went to prison for support of the Pullman strike of 1894, came out 6 months later, a committed socialist. He was a charismatic speaker, ran for president several times, got 1 million votes in 1912, co-founded the Industrial Workers of the World, the Wobblies. In 1917, he was sent to prison for a speech in which he said, "The rich start the wars, the poor fight them." The Espionage Act had been passed, which made it a crime to publicly oppose the American involvement in World War I. Eugene Debs, who said, "When great changes occur in history, when great principles are involved, as a rule, the majority are wrong." He also said, "Chicago is the product of modern capitalism and, like other great commercial centers, is unfit for human habitation." It's the birthday of the poet Ella Wheeler Wilcox, born Johnstown, Wisconsin, 1850, who was famous for her poem Solitude, which begins, "Laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone, for the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, it has trouble enough of its own." Here's a poem for today by Tony Hoagland, entitled "The Loneliest Job in the World." As soon as you begin to ask the question, "Who loves me?" you are completely screwed, because the next question is, "How much?" And then it is hundreds of hours later, and you are still hunched over your flowcharts and abacus, trying to decide if you have gotten enough. This is the loneliest job in the world, to be an accountant of the heart. It is late at night, you are by yourself, and all around you, you can hear the sounds of people moving in and out of love, pushing the turnstiles, putting their coins in the slots, paying the price, which is asked, which constantly changes. No one knows why. A poem by Tony Hoagland, "The Loneliest Job in the World," from Unincorporated Persons in the Late Honda Dynasty. That's the Writer's Almanac for Thursday, November the 5th. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.